you are about to become part of Tolkien fandom.
Yes.
How are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling very good. I mean, the Tolkien fans are very diehard, so it was always, it's a little bit nerve-wracking initially because you don't know how people are going to respond. But from what I know already and from what people have seen of the movie, I think the response has been really good so far. So hopefully, long may it continue.
Well, you've got a whole plethora of fandom coming up for you.
Good.
Is this the first time that you've done voice acting of this kind in an animated feature?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the closest I've got to sort of doing anything sort of purely vocal is if you do sort of maybe a radio play or you're voicing, like I said, just a radio play basically in a character. But being able to doing a movie on this scale without having any physicality or facial expressions to help you tell that story was a real challenge. But I think, with the help of our fearless leaders and our director and our producers and, listening to Guy's performance later on down the line in the process was a huge help for me.
Did you get to work together at all? You're saying listening to her later. How much were you on your own in a room?
On our own in a room for most of it, yeah. I mean, Guy and I actually didn't even meet until a few days ago when we first got to New York. We'd spoken over text and stuff like that, but we hadn't actually seen each other or met each other face to face until this trip. So that was, that was interesting. But it was, I hope anyway that the relationship comes across well.
Did you find yourself moving quite a lot on your own though when you were doing the voice? Did you need to get into it physically?
You do need to get into it physically. Yeah, I think for me it's one of those things because there's a very small window in which you can actually you can't move too far away from the microphone or move too close to the microphone because of distortion. So just getting that relationship with the microphone was initially one of the biggest challenges. And even when you're shooting the fight sequences, you've got to try and flail your body around and move around as much as you possibly can without moving your head too far away from the microphone. So it came with its challenges, but after a little bit of practice we got there.
So would you be up for more?
I would love to do more, yes. I hope this isn't the first time I get to have this experience. No.
And I have to ask you, were you a fan of Tolkien or of Peter Jackson's movies before you had this role?
Yes, I was. I was a big fan of Peter Jackson's movies. I was saying that my dad actually took me to watch the very first Lord of the Rings film when I was 11 years old, and I was absolutely just blown away by the spectacle of it in 2001 when The Fellowship of the Ring came out. So to now, 23 years later, to be a part of the Tolkien world and that universe is just an absolute joy. It's such a privilege to be part of it.
That's great. And Luke, tell us a little bit about your background for people who are not familiar with your work. I know you're a Brit. What did you study? What was your training?
I didn't actually study sort of in the classical sense. I did like a little local drama workshop when I was a kid. I sort of started that about 9-10 years old. It was probably the only extracurricular activity that I didn't get bored of. I did football and tennis and ice hockey, and they all had an expiry date for me. But this is being a part of being sort of performing in this way was something that I never really got bored of, and it's something that I had a real passion for. And then as I sort of started to get to that time, about sort of 14, 15, 16, where I sort of realised I was about to leave school, I didn't want to go into higher education. That's when I sort of started to take the idea of doing this as a profession more seriously. Yeah.
But it's really nice to talk to you. And just say hi to the fans at TheOneRing.net.
Yes, hello fans at TheOneRing.net.
Thank you, Luke.
Thank you so much. Love to see you.